What's good, y'all? Hope everyone's having a blessed Sunday. Y'all know what it is. This is another episode of the Southern Baller Show. Up here, just chopping it up with the fellas, and of course, I have Coach 67 Sports TV. What's going on?
Man, I'm blessed and highly favored. The first Sunday afternoon in July. How y'all gentlemen doing this afternoon?
I'm blessed, can't complain, man. And JB, how you doing, bro?
Hey, Coach took the words right out my mouth, man. Blessed and excited to do another show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I see everybody coming in. Appreciate y'all. Mr. Shelton is almost brought MF and Purdy time. We'll see. But yeah, it's that time, Mr. Shelton. We gonna see ball. Um, 86 Ghosts. What's good, man? He said, Shelton, you look at type slow as ever. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, we going, man, y'all. It's that almost that time of the year, football season. The first NFL game, which I'm including the preseason, so the first preseason game is going to be on July 31st, y'all. And then the first college game is going to be on August 23rd. So we almost we on a couple of weeks until ball, man. So the long wait is almost ended, y'all. Um, but we can chop it about the NFL, college doesn't matter. JB, how you feeling about this the new 2025-2026 season?
Bro, I can't wait for all of it. I can't wait to the training camp. I can't, and that's for college and NFL. Can't wait till they put their pads on. I used to love that the smelling the grass when I used to play. Man, I'm just excited. We're gonna see who's gonna be the starter. Ain't no more. Uh, I see here some of the brothers say pajamas gymnastics. You know what I'm saying? Them running around in shorts and so it's full pads and just hear the sound of pads popping, bro. Ain't nothing like it. But so the first
Yes, sir.
preseason game is Philly versus who?
The first preseason game is going to be Los Angeles Chargers versus Detroit
Okay.
on
So, well,
July
that's the
30th.
Hall of Fame game.
I believe so. Usually, the first game it is.
Yeah, usually the Hall of Fame game.
So I don't care if it's a Hall of Fame game. I'm excited, man. I want to go ahead and see it. See how these rookies everybody drafted or they new addition to their roster, how everything gonna turn out. How Brock
So
Purdy gonna do, like Mr. Shelton talking about, how he gonna do, how he gonna look
yeah,
this season.
that's usually the reason why you watch a preseason game to see what the rookies gonna do,
Yeah.
or how the second string, or hope which team got depth and which team don't. And
Yeah.
that's usually when the teams start making moves, signing free agents, you know. So
Mr. Shelton said he gonna do great. All right.
Hey, he
Uh,
gonna need to do great because you're not gonna have a lot of them same weapons at his disposal. He done had the last couple seasons. So yeah, he gonna need to do his thing.
yeah, you really do. You really do. But coach, what's your how you feeling about this new up and coming season? I know you
Well,
excited.
oh no, big facts. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Hopefully in terms of from a middle school standpoint, hopefully I'm a head coach again somewhere this upcoming season. And in addition to that, of course, when it come to the mighty Jags, uh, Super Week 0, North Carolina Central. I'm definitely looking forward to that. If the cheese was right,
Mm.
and I'll definitely be in Atlanta that weekend. But money looking a little funny right now, but I'm still gonna be supporting them, and I'm still gonna definitely do a show pre and after that. But in terms of the NFL aspect of it, the thing I like most about the preseason is the fact that the season get ready to start. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not big on training camp in in preseason. I just want the football to really get going, especially football that count. You know, years past, they used to have, a lot of like big major injuries that are happening, during the preseason. And, you might have your favorite player who you're looking forward to this particular guy doing his thing, and he'll get hurt during the preseason. He'll be out for the whole year. I think that's part of the reason why they shortened it. They shortened the preseason and they added that game to the regular season. And I'm like, dang. So, the NFL and all these leagues is all about the money. That's why you got the in-season tournament in NBA. That's why you got the extra regular season game, the extra playoff game. Because, usually two teams used to have buys in the NFL, but now you only get one. So anything they could do to add the revenue dollars and add extra game, whatever, they're going to do it. But I'm definitely looking forward to, this season getting it on and popping. And in addition to that, just the whole season, the NFL, college, definitely HBCU season with my mighty Jaguars, and in addition to that, whatever middle school team or junior high school team I'm gonna be coaching this upcoming season. I'm looking forward to it all, you dig?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely going. A lot of people are anticipating this season, especially the college season. So, um, and all you game heads or gamers, this coming up week, college EA Sports College Football 26 is coming out. So, y'all make sure y'all pick up a copy if y'all interested. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, one thing I want to add, you know, especially like high school. I'm definitely looking forward to continuing my relationship with the Louisiana All American Sports Network. So I'm looking forward to you know being with Lindell Mitch and Eric Hatfield and calling high school games for their broadcast for the Louisiana All American Sports Network on their YouTube channel and on their radio broadcast. And then
okay.
in addition to that, like I say, whatever, middle school team I'm looking forward to coaching. I'm definitely, if the law say the same, I'll definitely be a high school coach. Not high school, I'm sorry. A head coach on a junior high, middle school level this coming season, and definitely looking forward to you know, being in attendance at A.W. Mumford Stadium, Pete Richardson Field, just following my Jags and the law say the same, have another little young tender with me, all that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want it all, brand new socks and drawers like Warren G. C. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Speak
Well,
it, believe it, receive it.
yes, sir. I pray all that happens to you, brother. Really do.
Yeah, if the law say the same, it's definitely gonna happen. He got it all in his plan. You did.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, who would you say coming into this new year is the team to watch in the NFL to look out for?
Y'all might say this is a bit of a homer pick, but I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I'm gonna keep it a stack. I'm gonna say the Baltimore Ravens. The reason I say that, uh, you know you
Mm,
your rule
you
is
know your ball.
yeah,
Go ahead.
your rule on a Southern Baller Show with the Southern Baller Show Collective is, you don't want us backstage cooking the food too much because you don't want when we get on the live to cook for the food to be overcooked. And we kind of, briefly talked about it. But the reason I say this is because I'm gonna keep it a buck. My New Orleans Saints, they drafted Tyler Trash. They're gonna be hot garbage this year, unless, something amazing and miraculous happen. I'm not really looking forward to the Saints, but in terms of Lamar Jackson, despite what people might say, you know, he action Jackson for real. He really the player to watch. But more than anything, once the playoffs hit, I want to see. I don't think it's an indictment on him But in terms of, their coaching staff, the fact that y'all as a team haven't been able to get over the hump and get him a Super Bowl ring, I think that's more an indictment on, on ownership and the front office, and more than anything, the coaching staff. But I think they're definitely gonna be the team to watch. Can they add another weapon to really go with him and Derrick Henry? To me, I think him and Derrick Henry, better offensive line play, maybe another number one wide receiver, maybe a tight end that don't drop the damn ball in playoff games. I think all of those things are definitely aid in Lamar Jackson's cause. You know what I'm saying?
Facts,
I
facts.
agree.
If Coach could sugarcoat something, that could fly. Yeah, man.
Man,
Go
this
ahead,
I
David.
I want to see what y'all fellas, and that was a good, and that's my answer too, Coach. But what's y'all teams y'all watching this year for HBCU and college? I know Coach Southern, his Southern is yours, but I can be PWI or HBCUs.
I want to go first.
My Go ahead.
Uh, I'm take a real good look. I know this is crazy, but I just want to see if they improve. I'm taking a real good look at Mississippi Valley.
I knew he was gonna say that.
I'm taking a real good at Valley to see if they improve because I did not like that Kendrick Wade firing. So I'm be eyeing them see if they move um uh or improve um this new year. And of course for PWI, I'm gonna go with I got my eyes on Colorado and of course my Tar Heels.
Well, for me, I think that's an interesting pick in terms of Valley. I think a lot of people, they starting to trend towards these, NFL coaches, and I'm not gonna lie, Terrell Buckley has a tall mountain to climb in terms of being a head coach at Valley. I agree with you. I think them getting rid of Kendrick Wade was a little premature, but to me, I think that's gonna make it more difficult for Terrell Buckley. And the fact that you have all of these college coaches, even in the HBCU ranks with NFL experience. Of course, he's not as big a name as Michael Vick or Deshaun Jackson. And kind of speaking of them, I think when it comes to the MEAC side of things, I think a lot of people are gonna be looking at Delaware State and Norfolk State to see what they really do based on the fact that they have, two former NFL stars. For me, I think the easy pick is definitely Southern. But since they're one of our biggest rivals, I'm definitely taking a hard look at Jackson State from the perspective of the fact that Coach Terrence Graves and his staff has done a good job getting sneaky good players in a transfer portal. However, on the opposite end of the spectrum, Jackson State they've been getting loud, splashy picks and players transferring from, Power 5 PWIs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
and
in
recruiting.
addition to
Yeah.
that, the one player that they did get that transferred from another HBCU, many people feel like he's arguably the best wide receiver in the SWAC. And of course, one of my hardcore subscribers, Desmond Allen and my guy Adrian Crook, they like, man, Salvage is trash. And basically, Jackson State fans was like, he didn't have the type of quarterback like Jacoby and Morgan to actually throw him the ball. But at the end of the day, like, we gonna see what they're gonna hit for. Basically they were saying their wide receiver room, can play is basically a PWI Power 5 wide receiver room from a talent perspective. And I'm like, all of that don't mean nothing if y'all don't block Kelby Gibbons. So we'll see, time will tell. It's getting to the point where, you can tell the smell of football is in the air because this past edition of my Southern University football show, basically Southern and Jackson State fans was, going back and forward in the chat. It made for a very entertaining show.
Yes, sir.
That's
And
football
matter of
in
fact,
the air.
yes, sir. And matter of fact, the first game of the Delta Devils, and like Mr. Shelton said, Mississippi Valley. The first game is your Southern Jaguars, coach. So, not only will the Jaguars be Mississippi's measuring stick as far as how much they improve, it's also going to be Southern's measuring stick to see if they blow them out like they're supposed to. Then they're definitely geared for a competitive year in the SWAC. If not, if Valley stays with them, definitely some things in that may need to improve. So that
I mean,
it's the SWAC, man.
since we cooking on the SWAC a little bit, what's your real outlook from a Terrell Buckley standpoint? I know you was extremely high on Kendrick Wade. Like, how much of a difficult job you think is going to be for him to go to Valley and really turn that program around?
Well, he has, unlike Kendrick Wade, and I like Kendrick Wade. I thought it was very noble what he did. He could have stayed at Delta State and continued his career with that decent up-and-coming football program. But he chose to take a shot crack at Mississippi State. Mississippi Valley, I'm sorry, those Delta Devils. But Terrell Buckley is a former first-round pick from Florida State. So he's another one of those NFL players turned coaches.
Yeah, Mississippi legend,
Yeah, yes. And it's definitely going to be, and on top of, he's a Mississippi high school legend. So it's definitely, he may have more pull as far as recruiting, knowing that state, you know what I'm saying? Knowing what the recruiting looks like, being on the top level himself, being recruited to Florida State as a player himself. So he definitely has that advantage. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, but the huge disadvantage that he has is the fact that, from a resource standpoint,
yes,
you have 6A schools in Mississippi on a high school level. They have nicer facilities. They have more at their disposal. Valley, yeah. In addition to that, you have 5A schools in the state of Louisiana. You got 5 and 6A schools in Texas that have more resources and more funding at their disposal than Mississippi Valley. That's one of the real struggles that he's gonna have at Valley. That we always talk about Ed Reed and how he was bashing Bethune, but a lot of times when you come to HBCU, especially in the SWAC, they don't have the type of resources and facilities that you're accustomed to having on a PWI, especially going to a school to caliber Florida State. He's gonna have a tall mountain to climb, and he's definitely gonna have his work cut out for him. Being the head coach of Mississippi Valley. But I wish him well, just not against the Jags though.
Right. And then also he got a lot of coaching experience, coaching at the once upon a time the XFL before it merged to the UFL. And then he was of course a coach at Florida State for numerous years, Akron, Louisville, then Mississippi State cornerbacks coach, Ole Miss, and then he coached the Orlando Guardians with which was the XFL at the time, 2023. So he has a lot of coaching experience. So hopefully, even though he's in like you said, the resources are not that much. Hopefully he could not nobody can probably do exactly what Deion did at Jackson State, but I'm sure Terrell Buckley has enough resources he can reach out to on his end to help like former uh, players that he knows or have acquaintances that used to play ball with him that can come in and help. So, like I said, it's going to be interesting.
Well, hopefully he can reach out to somebody like Jerry Rice and give maybe like a few racks, and
Right.
maybe he can reach out to corporations the way Deion did when he was at Jackson State. If he could build those type of relationships and kind of gradually build that program up, hopefully they can make some noise at some point. But like I said, not against Southern though.
Right. So shout out to the even though I'm a Kendrick Wade, I admire that brother, but I'm hoping the college football Hall of Famer Terrell Buckley does well.
Yeah.
Hope he does well. Salute to Big Joe, my brother Joseph Townsend. He said, salute to the family at the NBA Summer League with my daughter. We'll catch the replay. I appreciate it, man. No, enjoy your time, brother.
Man, salute Big Joe.
Salute, Big Joe.
JB, so who you got as far as your eyes on the PWI school and a HBCU?
Of course, I'm just gonna keep it simple with the signing of Bill Belichick. I'm seeing what the Tar Heels are gonna do if his pool, his coaching pool, his wisdom is gonna translate to college. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The staff he built, and then for the HBCU level, I have two. It's gonna be Norfolk State. I want to see how Vic do.
Mm.
Uh, that
Yeah.
kid does. I'm gonna be rooting for both of them. For that brother and Deshaun Jackson with Delaware State. I'm gonna be rooting for both of these brothers. So anytime they play, I'm gonna be watching their games if I can find it. So
All right.
Oh,
That's
hey.
good picks.
I can't
Oh,
wait.
and for my PWI pick, you already know I'm a local joker. So it's definitely gonna be LSU. Just like there's a lot of pressure on Terrence Graves to win the SWAC and win a Black National Championship. We piss excellence in Baton Rouge on the other side of the town. At this point, with all of the players you got coming back, it's national championship bus for Brian Kelly across town. So you got a lot of members,
Yeah.
In Tigerland. They looking for a national championship. So with experienced quarterback and experienced team, if they don't win a national championship, he definitely on the hot seat. I'm gonna just put it like that.
He definitely in the hot seat. Definitely in the hot seat. And in my opinion, I got one of the best running backs in the LSU. Has one of the best running backs in the nation in Caden Durham from Duncanville High School in Texas. So I'm because he balled out his freshman year. Um, he showed signs that he definitely with a consistent blocking, he's a 1,000-yard rusher. So I'm definitely gonna be keeping my eye out on him. Uh, yeah, man. Football is almost upon us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Before we move on, do you have any other questions or concerns?
Now I think we cooked this topic to the fullest.
All right. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on to a little bit of boxing. Usyk versus Daniel Dubois 2. Who you got going with Coach first?
I think Daniel Dubois gonna pull an upset. I think the thing about it is I think the big mistake with him is Once he got Usyk hurt, he didn't go back to the body. Dude, you a big, strong heavyweight. Your confidence is sky high at this point. You've been on a roll. You beat the brakes off of Anthony Joshua. Many people didn't see that upset coming, including myself. So if you're gonna beat Usyk, you can't try to outbox him. He a smaller guy. You and a couple other fighters that had success going to the body. That's where all your success lies. I'm gonna keep it a buck. If I'm him, the only punches I'm throwing is jabs up top and straight right hands and left hooks to the body. Nothing else. I'm definitely trying to get the Usyk body, big time. So you go to the body, you hurt him to the body, you keep going to the body. So hopefully with this time, if they fight in Riyadh, you definitely want Usyk fighting at home again, because that first fight, I think he got some home cooking. They called it a low blow. It clearly was, the punch was on the belt line. So if I'm Daniel Dubois, I'm going to the body early. I'm going to the body often. Hopefully he can stop Usyk to the body, and hopefully he don't do like Usyk and play keep away. I want, once champ, my favorite fighter that's in the thumbnail with me on this picture in terms of my avatar for this particular show. Hopefully he can get a couple good wins. Go on a bit of a bum bash. Maybe he could fight Francis Ngannou, maybe Joe Joyce. Get his shake back against Big Bang Zane and Joe Parker, and then maybe he could eventually get a undisputed title shot against Daniel Dubois or Usyk or whoever. But you can't get that heavyweight strap and play keep away. Nowadays the way the sport is deteriorating in scrubs and guys playing keep away. That's why I rock with Deontay Wilder. That's why I rock with Devin the Dream Haney. That's why I rock with Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford and Brian Norman Jr. These the guys that really seem like they pursuing greatness. Everybody else, they look like they're just trying to play keep away as far as I'm concerned. So those are the fighters I really rock with at this point.
Absolutely. So
We
basically,
we, we want
you got Usyk.
yeah
I
I
mean,
got
excuse me, Daniel Dubois.
yeah
Dubois.
we got Daniel Dubois, and we want fighters that dare to be great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And salute to my brother, Coach Hudson, man. Y'all go over there and subscribe to his channel, man. He doing spit knowledge over there, boxing knowledge.
Man, salute to Coach Hudson, man. He be dropping some real gems, y'all. Definitely go to his channel, rock out with him, our LDBC brother, you did.
Absolutely, absolutely. JB, I definitely gotta hear this. Who you got, Usyk or Dubois?
I want to go with Dubois, and like Coach said, if he sticks to that game plan, going to the body, Dubois can win. But I think Usyk is just too classy for him, man. I think as far as being a boxer, um, I think he outboxes him. He may not knock him out this time. Um, he should have lost that first fight. I think, but what Usyk does make adjustments. I think he's going to be ready for uh, the boy to go to the body, and I think he's going to have something for him. Now, I think Usyk is going to win, but I'm rooting for Daniel.
Okay. I definitely hear you, man, and I share the same opinion. Um, I'm rooting for Daniel Dubois, but Usyk is too technically sound. I do think he's gonna get hurt. There's gonna be some drama in this fight, like the first one where Daniel is gonna have Usyk hurt, um, and not like Tyson Fury. I mean, you can see that that he's really hurt to the point where he's on shaky legs. But Usyk is going to compose himself and box the paint, outbox Daniel Dubois. So I have Usyk, but I could be wrong because Daniel come with that heat. Daniel has been coming with that heat for the past few fights, so it's definitely gonna be interesting. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Who you got? So we have two fights here, and of course we're gonna go one at a time. So we got Berlanga versus Shiraz, and then we got Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. So, Coach, going with you first for the Berlanga versus Shiraz. Who you got?
I got Berlanga. I think he I don't see him being like an undisputed champion in his particular division, but I think he definitely has the potential to be a strap holder for sure. So I'm going with Berlanga in this particular fight.
Okay, and then who you got for Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda?
Well, as much grief as I give Shakur Stevenson, in particular, in the super and basically in the live stream for Trill Will, I definitely was on his helmet a lot. In a recent birthday edition of my brother Brent Fox live stream, I was on his helmet too. I'm definitely gonna call him Shakur.
Right.
He definitely a cool, but I'm not gonna lie, the black man in me is not gonna allow me to go against him, especially when he's fighting against a non-black fighter. I think it's gonna be a good fight, but I think Shakur Stevenson is gonna put on a masterclass performance, and I think he's gonna get the dub, and I think he's gonna set himself up for a big fight against, somebody. We know it ain't gonna be against Keyshawn Davis, but I think he definitely in line for a big fight. Clearly I don't think Tank wants to challenge himself. I don't think Tank is going to dare to be great, but there's big fights in and around his weight class. So I think he's going to get the big win, and I think he's going to line himself up for a big fight,
Yeah. Okay. JB, same questions. Who you got? Berlanga versus Shiraz, and then Stevenson versus Zepeda.
With Berlanga, I see Berlanga winning, but I don't fully trust Berlanga. I can see Shiraz. Shiraz know how to box a little bit. I see Shiraz frustrate Berlanga. Berlanga does like some dirty stuff, like trying to bite him or something. But I'm going with Berlanga. And then for the Shakur Stevenson, Shakur is gonna win that. To me, Devin Haney and Shakur is probably two, like probably one of the best boxers in boxing, especially at that that uh that those lower weights. So I don't see Zepeda beating Shakur at all.
Okay. And salute to the general coming in. He said, "What it do, family? Appreciate you always supporting everybody. The general of this wonderful organization, the LDBC. Appreciate you, man.
Man, salute, General.
Yes, sir. Anthony Boat, Memphis man in the building. He said, salute. What's good, man? I agree I agree with you, brothers, man. Berlanga versus Shiraz. Shiraz has a damn good jab. I was impressed how he got hurt against Ammo Williams, and then he just used his length, being the taller man, and have the longer reach, and was able to jab Ammo Williams and eventually get him out of there. Now, with me saying that, He lost that Carlos Adames fight. I don't care what you say. Uh, and I think Berlanga, no, it's not like he. Don't get me wrong, Berlanga will brawl with you, but he's more a little bit more technically more sound than Carlos Adames. So in my opinion, I think he's going to outbox Shiraz. He has the skills to do so, unless he does something crazy. Yeah, like Eddie Butler said, like if Berlanga is definitely going to bite her head, but oh boy, even if he is winning the fight, yeah, Berlanga got the tools to win this fight. Just he don't do nothing stupid, nothing crazy. And then for the William Cepeda versus Curtis Stevenson, even though Cepeda is a game fighter, he's not beating Steve Stevenson. But his boxing, who knows? But of course, I got Shakur Stevenson to outbox, outpoint William Cepeda. All right. Before we move on, anything else?
Oh, one other thing I want to point out. Since he lost against Kid Austin, I think at some point we need to see Tevin Farmer against Mickey B. You know what I'm saying? That was a fight that was supposed to happen. I don't know if it's gonna ever happen, but hopefully we could get that fight at some point. Tevin Farmer against Mickey B. You dig?
Yeah, that fight ain't gonna happen, brother. But yeah, I'm down for it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I don't think it's gonna happen, but that would be definitely a fight I would be interested in seeing.
Right. Okay. Let's move on, y'all. Let's move on. Now here's the topic of the show, man. Will Lamar Jackson be a failure if he doesn't win a Super Bowl? The reason why I picked this topic, not just because I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan, is because if you turn on YouTube, you got every content creator who does sports or football or the sports networks talking about Lamar Jackson if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, especially this year, since on paper the Baltimore Ravens look good. If he doesn't win a Super Bowl, he just a regular season quarterback. In my opinion, that's unfair. But before I give my opinion, I want to hear what you brothers think. Coach 67 Sports TV, what you think?
Man, to keep it a buck, I'm gonna say hell no. Hey, not no. Hell no. To me, that's just low-hanging fruit. At what point are we gonna put accountability on the front office of the Baltimore Ravens? Then in addition to that, at what point are we gonna put some accountability on that Ravens coaching staff? Because let's keep it real. You went out, you got Derrick Henry, so you got a dynamic quarterback and you have a dynamic running back. In that playoff loss, I didn't understand why they didn't get the ball to Derrick Henry more. That's why some people have this conspiracy theory mindset. They like, look, bro, if you got an unstoppable running back to go with an unstoppable quarterback, like, why not give the ball to your running back more? Why not run some zone read option or whatever? But at the end of the day, other players on the team got to step up. And not only that, but the coaching staff, one thing y'all pointed out is being diehard Ravens fans is, man, the coaching staff is effing trash. Maybe it's time for them to move on from Harbaugh. Then they turn around and give him a goddamn contract extension. So at what point is Harbaugh going to be held accountable? That's my question. So at the end of the day, you have great players like Lamar Jackson. At one point, I'm not gonna lie, at one point as a fan, I didn't think MJ was gonna get over the hump until he did. And once he got over the hump, he wouldn't stop winning championships. So I think it's gonna be a point where Lamar Jackson definitely breaks through the glass ceiling, and he's gonna be an all-time great quarterback, in my opinion. But at some point, we got to put some onus and some accountability on the Baltimore Ravens coaching staff. Even though he's played the big game and got it done and this, that, and the third. It's not what have you done, it's what have you done for me lately. I say the same thing about Mickey Loomis being a general manager of the Saints, at what point are we going to put accountability on the Baltimore Ravens coaching staff? Quit pointing the finger at Lamar Jackson. He the black man. In this context, I think there's low-hanging fruit. Let's point some accountability at the Ravens coaching staff.
I 100% agree. Shout out to Autism Boy, man. Appreciate you coming in. And Anthony Bolt, man, I've been trying to give you a wrench. Do me a favor, man. And I meant to say this to Sister Shawala Yah. I've been trying to go to the moderator settings. It is not finding y'all. So if you could do me a favor on just the regular comments, just put something random, just put hi something, so I can moderate you from there. I'll appreciate it if you can do that. But JB, what's your opinion? That's why I saved you for last, man. Will Lamar Jackson be a failure if he doesn't win the Super Bowl?
Of course he's not. The whole organization is a failure. Of course he's going to be a part of the failure, but as far as the whole Ravens organization is a failure, you had these last couple of years, you had enough talents to win the Super Bowl, but you piss down your legs when you get to the playoffs. You forget who you are. Okay, I understand. Lamar rookie year, okay. You had Greg Roman. Greg Roman is known for fantastic run concepts, getting your run game going, but he's not known for his passing concepts, which is why every Greg Roman offense you're gonna have the number one rushing and number one rushing offense, and then your passing offense is going to be the 31st. We understand that. That's what Lamar was going through. Now you get what's our offensive coordinator now? I'm bugging on his name. You get the brother from Cleveland, and he unlocks Lamar into a passer, a better passer, and us who followed Lamar in Louisville already knew he could do that. If you get him a competent receiver, you know what I'm saying? So I think with this year and the last couple of years, it's just been once we get to the playoffs, it's just been coaching, especially Harbaugh, trying to outwit the coach doing stuff that you're not usually doing. Like when you in that playoff games against the Kansas City Chiefs, why are you trying to throw the ball against the number one secondary in the league, and you have the number one rushing offense in the league? Why?
Yeah, and the Chiefs were in the middle of the pack when it came to run defense that year.
Why?
Yeah.
Other games, when we was and then you start running the football, and then in the Bills game, there was a multiple situations when you got past the 50-yard line and you got two pass actions, which is one of the reasons why Lamar had to handle a bad snap. He loses it, and the Bills get the ball back. Because everybody keeps saying, "Oh, Lamar fumbled," but nobody was talking about, that was a bad snap by a center, and Lamar is trying to do like what he always do, catch the bad snap and try to make something happen. But like I said, kudos to the Buffalo Bills for, making something happen on the defensive side. They did what they were supposed to do.
Right.
Now, Lamar did throw a pick. Now we found out that Bateman ran the wrong route, but let's just give the haters that, right? He threw a bad pick. He still gave y'all a chance to win at the end.
In the second half, yeah.
And then, Mark Andrews fumbled the ball and trying trying to reverse field in the snow, and you never been that fast,
Nah, he ain't
whatever.
catch it.
Lamar.
Yeah, he ain't fumble. He ain't catch it.
No, I'm talking
No,
about he
yeah, yeah, you're
fumbled.
right.
He
You're right. He
fumbled.
fumbled first.
He
Man, he
fumbled
had a
first.
bad game. Yeah, you're right.
He
He
was
had a
trying
bad
to
game.
reverse field, and then one of the fields knocked the ball out from behind, and
You're right.
then he dropped the ball like a layup throw, and then he dropped the ball. So it's just been a combination and matching of the best players that Lamar around not stepping up,
Mm.
and coaching. Coaching just pissed down their leg. They just forget what got them there. The reason why the Bills and Kansas City and the rest of these teams and hell and the Philly is able to get to the playoffs or and Philly to win the Super Bowl because they don't forget their identity.
Yeah.
And the Super Bowl, as quiet as it is kept, they were stopping that run. Saquon didn't have a fantastic game, but they kept running the ball because they knew that Saquon Barkley is a threat. Derrick Henry is a threat. You will always need to give him about 20, 25 carries. Period. Lamar is going to get his. So, to answer your question, I'm sorry I went on this tangent.
No problem. That's why I
Lamar is
give it
not
to
a
you.
failure if he doesn't win a Super Bowl. But the coaching is and this organization is. We already know they tried to screw him out his money.
Yeah.
That just came out. So they owe Lamar. Harbaugh was about to be fired because Flacco was playing like trash, dog bowl water. And then rookie Lamar came in. He wasn't the passer he is now, but he made something happen because that's just the player he is. So we need to be looking. If we don't win a Super Bowl this year, man, we need to be looking at Harbaugh.
And then, and I want to interject, man. Are you done? Because I want to cook on this for a little bit.
Go ahead.
How about the bad offensive lines that Lamar Jackson just been masking himself, that he's been over the center of?
And let me find out that's bro. You know what I'm finding out, Jared and Coach? There's a lot of ex players and people that don't be watching these games. They just be talking and don't be watching these games. I was watching something on the CBS network or something like that, and they was talking about the Baltimore Ravens is losing valuable pieces. Patrick McCarry, that's a value. I almost spit out my coffee. Patrick McCarry is not everybody, but
Serviceable.
Patrick McCarry was serviceable, but he was more of a liability than help. He was the worst one on the offensive line.
Dang, worse than Daniel Falele?
Yes.
Dang.
Look, watch Coach Sister Tyler's film.
Shout out to Coach.
He was horrible. Missing block, not hustling, not going to block nobody, walking around, standing around, looking around. Wow. Defenders was taking shots on your quarterback. Oh, Jacksonville gonna find out. Don't worry about it. When they teeing off on Trevor Lawrence ass, don't worry about it. Now Falele did get better. I did see him get. It's like we just need him. He's a big teddy bear type of dude. He just needs to get angry because he's naturally strong. You know what I'm saying? And he's just one of them dudes. He's strong and don't know it, and he's not. His technique ain't there yet, but he's so big that he can get away with a lot of stuff. That's it.
Yeah.
So, and then the staff like him, so he's gonna start anyway. I think Voorhees is going to start in that offensive line.
On that left guard spot.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a better offensive line than last year. I think we're going to have a way better offensive line than last year. But Lamar has played behind some trash and made it work and was able to win games. So um, I mean, last year the management basically said that, hey man, we just going to throw shit against the wall regarding the offensive line and see if it's gonna stick. That's what Eric DeCosta said out his mouth. That they were gonna
Pretty much.
basically do a project bullshit with our offensive line, which was dangerous. And that's why I say Lamar is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL because he does that constantly without an offensive line. Patrick Mahomes, you saw what happens when he don't have an offensive line
That's facts.
And 2 Super Bowls.
in two
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowls. If you watch that Philly game, we was in that Philly game and probably should have won it if it wasn't for Justin Tucker missing two or three kicks he missed in a row.
Yeah, and that offensive line giving up blocks,
Yeah.
not blocking. Yeah, I'm going because I don't want to be long winded on this, man. But it's so a lot of people that they think we just and Baltimore and Hendo, 86 Goats, Big Reg, all the Baltimore, Yolanda B. All of us would tell you the people that's on the outside looking in, or if you just know football, you paying attention. Lamar doing amazing things with the stuff he's working with, the pieces around him he has been working with uh, over the past few years. Um,
And let me chime in and interject real
Go
quick,
ahead.
bro. I'm not gonna lie, y'all brought us some excellent points on every coaching level, from middle school to high school, college, NFL teams. Once they get the championship games, they go away from what got them to where they are. That's a valid point. The Ravens have done that the last couple of years in the playoffs. And in addition to that, it shows you how great a quarterback he is because his offensive line is nothing to write home about. And he's been masking how terrible his offensive line really is. So those are some phenomenal points.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And one thing I noticed, he said he's gonna be more vocal, and that's what is gonna get him over the hump. Uh, that's why I raised. Shout out to Anquan Bolton when he was on the I forget, I'm blanking the show he
OG's
was on.
podcast.
OG's podcast with
Right.
Udonis Haslam and Mike Miller. So he pretty much came out and said that the players, the 2012 Super Bowl that we ran, all the OGs like Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, Hote Nata, himself, Anquan Bolton himself, had a meeting with John Harbaugh and said, "This ain't working. We need to change this." And he didn't say this, but I know this happened. That's why they fired Cam Cameron, JB, and hired Jim Caldwell. Because
He
Ray
was
Lewis
trash,
and Ed Reed and them said, "No, this ain't gonna work." So that's why
bro.
all the Ravens fans been telling y'all, John Harbaugh ain't no amazing coach.
Bro,
And that
Cam
Super
Cameron was
Bowl,
so trash.
yeah,
Bro, look, coach. I gotta tell you this. I love going back watching old games, like any game, college, HBCU, or NFL, like older games. I can go back and watch the older games on YouTube. So I was watching this game that Baltimore was playing. I believe against the Cowboys or or it was some team we played in 2012, the Browns or something like that. And
right.
this Joker did a bubble screen to Lorenzo Neal. Lorenzo Neal ain't running by nobody. And this was
Lorenzo
Lorenzo Neal when he was older.
Lorenzo Neal was a blocking fullback everywhere he been, even with the
Hammer.
team, you know.
Yeah, he was a hammer.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a beast. You know what I'm saying? That was the team when we had when I think it was against it was 09 against the Cowboys or 012, I believe the game I watched.
No, it wasn't
I watched a
012.
lot
We
of
had
games.
Lorenzo Neal 08, 08, 09. So yeah,
Oh
that's
08, 09. So it was that year, 08, 09. So yeah, that's the year we had Ron McClain and McGahee and the rest. Yeah. It was about 08, 09. So this Joker ran screen to Lorenzo Neal, bro, and it wasn't fooling nobody. Bro, like, and so to basically Anquan Bolt was like, bro, man, look, he gotta go. For us, he said this ain't gonna work. He gotta go.
and that was all because that 2012 season, the veterans of that team knew they had talent to make it to the Super Bowl, and the front office wasn't doing their due diligence and making any moves, so the players had to speak up.
So with that question, who who's gotta step up on this year's team? Is it gonna have to be Lamar? Is it Humphrey? Is
It's
it
gonna be,
Roquan?
it's gonna have to be all of them. Roquan, Lamar. Lamar said he on Coda's balls with Kevin Hart. He said he's going to be more vocal this year, but it can't be just him. All the veterans, Roquan, uh, um, even Adafe Owe, even though he's been in the league for a couple of years, he technically he's getting in that veteran status. So all the veterans need to speak up and tell the front office what they seeing, because this should be their year on paper.
I think
Again, I
I
say
think
on
it's
paper.
Derrick Henry. I think it's Derrick Henry.
Darren Harry too, yeah.
I think Derrick Henry is gonna have to when you start doing that bullshit in the playoffs, is gonna have to walk up to Coach Harbaugh and I'm blanking on the offensive coordinator name. Dang it,
Todd Monken.
Todd Monken say, no, we're not running that bullshit. Give me the ball. That's what Derrick Henry is gonna have to say. He's gonna say no. Kind of like what the 2012 team did. No, we're not doing that bullshit. That's what we're gonna have to do to win this game. Because this team is too loaded, man.
Yeah,
For us not
man.
to win the Super Bowl.
It is.
I mean,
And salute Red 41 ATX, man. Appreciate you coming by, man. He said, yo, what's popping? And Anthony Bone said, Lorenzo Neal catching passes. He had he had the second coming to Sam Gass catching passes.
bro,
And I mean,
I'm trying to tell you, bro.
and I mean
I'm
that's the
trying to
thing
tell
about
you,
it.
Mr. Bo.
Certain fullbacks were known more for blocking. Lorenzo Neal was a blocking fullback. And then at the fullback for Arizona, I can't think his name. He was known for catching the ball out the backfield, him and Richie Anderson and those types. So those were the receiving fullbacks. Lorenzo Neal was the blocking fullback. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know your personnel. That speaks to how he really didn't know his personnel at all. Anytime he throwing a blocking fullback a pass, a screen out the backfield. That's stupid, man.
Bro, and as soon as we got rid of Cam Cameron and we signed Jim Caldwell, shout out to Jim Caldwell, one of the best coaches in the NFL, black coach. Man, we started busting people ass, bro. We started busting people ass.
Yeah, man, for real. Yeah, man, but just not to go off on the tangent of the Baltimore Ravens, but Lamar Jackson is not a failure if he doesn't win a Super Bowl. He, in my opinion, he's one of the most amazing quarterbacks that ever played the game. Unfortunately, he's gonna be like Dan Marino or Phillip Rivers. players like that who are damn good going to be in the Hall of Fame or already in the Hall of Fame, but just didn't make it to the big dance or didn't win the big dance. So all that you hear on sports networks and YouTube is foolishness. Go ahead, JB.
I think you don't get one. I think people
I
be
do
giving
too.
the hardball pass because everybody is talking about. I see people talking about Mike Tomlin. You know what I'm saying? But Mike Tomlin on this and Mike Tomlin. No, Harbaugh needs to be in that same seat, hot seat. If he don't win one this year, he has no excuse. Everybody talking about Lamar, bro. We was a game away from the AFC Championship last year with an offensive line that we just spit together and threw shit against the wall. We didn't know what Falele was, and Patrick McCarry wasn't all that great.
Facts, man. So we definitely gonna see, man. That's why it's exciting that the season is up and coming, man. Uh, like I said, the first preseason game is gonna be July 31st. I believe is the Hall of Fame game. So we definitely gonna see, man. I appreciate y'all for rocking out with us, man. This Sunday evening or afternoon, depending on where you are. Coach 67 Sports TV, let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
And you can catch me at Coach 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms. However, I'm primarily here on YouTube. More than likely, I'm probably going to do a live stream on both Wednesday and Thursday. So y'all come check me out. Y'all have a blessed and phenomenal weekend. Peace and blessings to everybody. And shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, you dig?
Yeah, shout out to the mighty LDBC. JB, any lasting words you want to say before we get out of here, man?
Nothing, man. Y'all just be blessed. Enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday and this upcoming work week, and I'll catch y'all when I catch y'all.
All right. Well, this was another installment of the Southern Baller Show. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Y'all be blessed.